It would appear that everything Disney should hold dear is getting ready to perhaps steer itself in a bad direction. We're talking about the Walt Disney Company's Walt Disney World. It is the crown jewel of the entire portfolio the company owns. It is the greatest, grandest, largest vacation kingdom in the world, but it could be unfurled, taken down by a new champ, and they call it Epic Universe. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the place that continues to ring out sanity loud and clear. You need it. We love it. We're here to do just what you need us to do, and that is to continue keeping you ahead of the culture curve. Folks, today we're talking about Universal Studios' Epic Universe coming to dismantle Disney, and it turns out the House of Mouse is using very poor judgment when they try to decide just how big Epic is going to be. As we dive in, we ask that you click that like button. And now, folks, without further ado, here we go. This is out of WDWMagic.com. They're huge fans of the channel. Huge. Trust us. It says how Disney views Universal Epic Universe's opening. Insights from CFO Hugh ... Johnston. Here's what it says. Mr. Johnston briefly addressed Universal Epic Universe's Memorial Day weekend opening and its potential impact on Walt Disney World during Disney's Q4 financial results conference call, well, when it happened. It says, when asked about Disney's expectations for the new park's opening, Johnston emphasized that Disney had considered it when setting projections for their parks and experiences division. Folks, we're here to tell you, though, they have not modeled this well. We'll explain why and why you should not perhaps put much credence into what Disney is saying. Here's a breakdown of Johnston's key points. Integration into projections. Disney accounted for Universal Epic Universe's 2025 launch in their forecasts, suggesting it will not disrupt Disney's growth expectations for theme park experiences. Positive early indicators. Johnston mentioned that early bookings for Disney's summer 2025 season remain strong. Historical perspective. Reflecting on past theme park openings in Florida, Johnston noted that the increased tourism benefits both Disney and the broader local market. Disney expects the same boost in visitor interest from Epic Universe. I'm going to run through these three real quick and just absolutely blow them out of the water, and then I'm going to hand it to Vash to follow it up and clean it up and perhaps push back on me if I'm wrong. All right, starting off with the first one. Disney can account for their for the launch forecasts and say that it's not going to affect them, but I need to see the evidence thereof, and they did not provide any. On the second point, talking about early bookings for Disney's summer 2025. Folks, Epic Universe opens Memorial Day weekend. It is already very difficult to get into Epic Universe, and as it first opens in that summer, that's going to be the easiest time for Disney to survive this. So therefore, Disney, I don't care about your summer bookings. I care about your holiday bookings. I care about your 2026 bookings. Summer 2025 is the opening of this other park when they're going to be more limited and on these different kinds of reservation systems. So nice trickery there, Disney. And then finally, the most egregious, the worst, the historical perspective. Dear Disney, you have never faced anything like this, and I hazard the guess that you know that. You know that Epic Universe is going to create a paradigm shift in Orlando. It threatens your biggest asset in all of your portfolio, that being Magic Kingdom and the rest of Walt Disney World. And Epic Universe is going to be aiming to create week-long experiences. That's 7-day experiences, 4, 5, 6, 7-day experiences with the rest of the Universal parks so that people are not sharing their time with Disney when they go to visit Epic Universe. For those reasons, if you're an investor in Disney, you should take notice of this. I don't think that Disney is noticing you and your concerns very well. Vash, is there anything I'm wrong on, and what extra should we say?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all. I believe there's a Frommer's article out there talking about this and how the Universal strategy, at least for initial people that go to Epic Universe, having to buy multi-day vacation packages like 3, 4, and 5 days, only getting 1 day Epic Universe no matter what level you actually choose, was a brilliant strategy employed in order to not only load balance amongst Universal's own parks, but to cannibalize some of that vacation time, a very precious vacation time, I might say, away from Disney, where where people might go, hey, look, maybe I'm going to go ahead and set up my home base in Orlando at Universal Studios rather than at Disney's parks and resorts. That's going to be a huge seismic gravitational shift that actually occurs right there. They're saying that their bookings are they're strong. I will say they just announced a plethora of different discounts for vacation packages and bookings in 2025. And a lot of us at the time said that, yeah, that's surrounding Epic Universe right there, because I think it's going to be hard for people to justify the valuation difference between booking a vacation at Epic Universe or Universal versus Disney, when Disney really doesn't have that much new to offer and Universal does. So that's going to be a huge seismic shift there. We also saw Moffat Nathanson, I believe, talk about they anticipate at least 1 million people going from that would have otherwise gone to Disney going to Epic. So there's already cannibalization that has been expected by investors already. And when asked about these specific things, Disney was really cagey during that earnings call. It's almost like they were avoiding the topic altogether, as Marvin brilliantly pointed out. And as we pointed out at the beginning of the show, I'll go ahead and repeat it here. Josh Giamaro at D23 Brazil just confirmed that rally race attraction that's going to be, destroying the heart of Magic Kingdom, all of Rivers of America, that will be beginning construction next year, around the time that, well, frankly, Epic Universe is about to open. Are you necessarily going to shell out $200 to go to Magic Kingdom and see half of that park walled off like we just saw with Epcot, or are you going to opt for Epic Universe instead? I think a lot of people are actually going to do that. So this idea that they're not worried about Epic Universe and the potential cannibalization that could have not only to its tenants, but mainly those per caps or those per guest spending, I think that's very ambitious. We saw this with Harry Potter, by the way, in 2010. This is why Disney responded in the way that they did with like Avatar, for example, or Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. These Potter swatter attraction expansions, because they saw the per cap revenues shift Universal's direction. So the idea that this isn't going to happen now is foolish.
So your assessment then, Vash, is that the Disney response is very poorly timed because the aesthetics of Magic Kingdom and getting around the park is going to be severely damaged or diminished at the same time that a brand new park is open.
Indeed. And they've announced as well that Monsters Inkland will be starting construction next year as well. So Disney's Hollywood Studios will also be affected by this prominently. And for any of these attractions that they've announced as part of this $60 billion turbocharging effort, we are still 3 to 4, maybe even 5 years away from any of those things opening. In that time, Universal is going to be cashing out for every single year that Disney spends on building their response.
Do we have any indicator as to where the Monsters Inc. thing is going? Have they given any further sign? Are we feeling like Muppets is safe? Or are they going to go to Animation Courtyard? What are you thinking?
I'm pretty certain Muppets is safe. I think things have shifted towards the Animation Courtyard's direction. Apparently, there were some rumors that they might have announced the ending of the Muppets at the time that original announcement was made at the August D23 Expo in Anaheim. I believe the Wrap actually wrote that story. It looks like momentum has shifted a little bit, and the Muppets will be there.
And
they should be Rivers of America. Go ahead, Marvin.
We had reported a while back on an interview that came out where a former animator at the Animation Courtyard had confirmed that she had been told the Animation Courtyard was going down for Monsters Inc. And she was a long time animator there, so she would have still had connections in Disney Animation. So I was tempted to believe that, and to believe that my fellow fabricated Americans might live to see another day, along with the preservation of Jim Henson's legacy, which would just be the most the biggest travesty that they could enact would be to just bulldoze the last thing that man worked on.
Absolutely. Erica, as an international traveler, how do you think this will play out for Disney? Like, if you go to Epic Universe and you have to bundle together, I think right now the minimum is 3 days. Is that right, Vash? You could have a 3-day ticket to the... Okay. Erica, yes. Do you think that's going to really hurt Disney, maybe limit them to being sort of a, hey, we got one extra day, let's go see the Magic Kingdom? Do you think that's how that's going to play out? Maybe Disney is underplaying the significance of this?
you have to consider the average family, their household income, what they can afford. Families are going to do well to afford one experience. It'll either be the Disney experience or it's going to be the Universal experience. And where is my money? Where am I going to get more bang for my buck? And as soon as Epic Universe opens, there's really not a whole lot going on at Universal in terms of construction, and everything's going to be like so open, and all these new attractions and lands. And I think Disney will feel a pinch for sure. But as far as international travel, I think most people and the curiosity. I mean, you can't ignore the popularity of the IPs that they're putting into Epic Universe. There's so many kids like Gen Alpha and your younger Gen Zers they relate to those IPs more than they do what our generation grew up with Disney. So there's that.
That's so true. That's a very strong point right there. Harry Potter really relates to a Generation Z for sure in a lot of ways, more than perhaps even Star Wars.
And Nintendo has, and you have Nintendo brand that's been so classic and timeless, over the years. I mean, that's been passed on even to my kids and now my grandchildren.
And that has multi-generational appeal going back to the 80s, 90s.
And guys, you look at what are the two biggest, Disney abandoned boy brands back when they decided to turn Marvel and Star Wars, the boy brands that they acquired to fill a void, into girl brands. And now what are the two biggest boy brands in the world? Mario and Sonic.
Yeah, another thing too about Universal, they've done a really good job at creating IPs that cater to both genders and all ages. They've really been smart. I don't think it was even done intentional, but it's just how it's played out, which is genius.
They were very careful about which IP that they were actually going to feature in Epic Universe. I think they sent out a range of surveys, not just to guests, but also to corporate partners that like to rent out their spaces for corporate events and so forth. Just kind of intimately understanding what you actually want from this park. I think they were really smart, like you said, Erica, in the choices made there. I think long term they're going to have a real winner on their hands.
Alan, in terms of the West Coast, we've got just a tiny taste of Epic Universe with the opening of Super Nintendo World over at the West Coast version of Universal Studios. How has that played out in your estimation? Have people in California, have they been exceedingly excited to visit and revisit Universal based on that? And do you think it'll replicate over in Florida?
Hollywood is a very different story than Florida. Universal Studios Hollywood is a section of Universal Studios, the movie production grounds.
Built on a mountain that none of us can understand how they're doing what they do half the time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like we're talking apples and oranges here, because I go to Universal maybe once in a blue moon, like maybe once every 10 years.
Do you go to Disneyland more often?
I did, definitely. I mean, Disneyland does have a lot more to offer. I think when Nintendo World opened, that certainly was a big boon, and when Harry Potter World opened, Wizarding World of Harry Potter, that was also a big boon. But it tends to balance itself out. But honestly, the success of Disney is all in the hands of Disney. When the parks feel dirty, people go elsewhere. When the parks feel clean, people go to Disney. I mean, that's kind of Disney rules the theme park business in Southern California. And and the success of the other parks, Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain, and Universal, their success depends on how bad a job Disney does.
And by the way, I think that's why Disney sometimes miscalculates for the other domestic park and the international parks. I think they measure the market in California and forget that it's a completely different culture and in Walt Disney World that they're trying to cater to, and they completely understand.
Quite frankly, when my family talks about going to Universal or not, it's because we don't want to go to Disney. That's the reality of it.
I think
that's right now.
That's why a lot of people right now are so focused on Universal, and it happens to be at a time when Universal is really on the upswing.
It is such fun getting to spend time together, folks, but we have come to the end of yet another video. Well, that makes the mainstream scratch their heads, pull their hair out, and wonder, how is it we continue to do what we do? But you know what we do this for? It's for you. To keep bringing all the knowledge of entertainment, explaining what's going on in Hollyweird each and every day. And you can help us continue on that way by clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It's the notification bell. Share this out on your favorite social media platforms, and we would love to have you drop a comment right on down below. Share your thoughts because, well, your thoughts truly do matter, and we mean it. As we get ready to say goodbye, we end with the common refrain. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.